make sure that you have your foldable set up correctly so that we can start. We're going to start with representing 3D figures. So in your foldable, these are the 2 pages that you should see when you open it up. You should see the title, representing 3D figures, and then you should see these 2 pages open. So let's start with what is a 3-dimensional figure. What is a 3D figure? It's called, in the math world, a polyhedron. Okay, just another fancier word. And 3D figures have surfaces that are polygons. So this word is important. A polygon is your basic shapes, okay? We're going to start with the most basic one, which is the one everyone should kind of already know. It's a cube. This is a representation of a 3D figure. So we're going to start with some vocab. So a vertex, hopefully you've heard this word before, is a point where 3 or more edges intersect. So this is my vertex right here, okay? So every corner, every edge that intersects is a vertex. Okay, and that brings me to the next vocab. An edge is a segment where 2 faces intersect. Now that takes us to the next vocabulary word, a face. A face of a 3D figure is flat, and it's going to be basically the sides. It's another word for it. So here it's pointing at this face right here. And then the edge is a segment. So here's my segment. Okay? And then the vertex up here. All right. The next vocab word is prism. That is the first shape we're going to do today. So a prism is formed by 2 parallel faces, congruent faces called bases. So the lateral faces are parallelograms, which means rectangles. We saw this in our last quiz. Rectangles is the same as a parallelogram. So yeah, in a prism, we have 2 bases that are parallel. So here in this picture, if you want to outline it or highlight it, I have a base here, and I have a base here. How come I know? How do I know that those are the bases? Well, they're parallel. They're parallel to each other. They will never touch. This will go this way, that will go that way, right? And then you have your face, lateral face here on the side. And like it says, the lateral faces are always rectangles, okay? So here's another different angle of this triangular prism. I have the bases here and here. You can see better how they're parallel. They're not going to touch. So that is a base, and that is a base. Okay, so how many bases does a prism have? It has 2 bases, okay? Now the next one is a pyramid. A pyramid. So the big difference between a prism and a pyramid is that it doesn't have 2 bases. It has 1 base. So if you have your highlighter, highlight that. Prisms have 2 bases. Pyramids only have 1. And the faces are not rectangles. They're triangles. Triangle faces that meet at a common vertex. Okay, so that's the biggest difference between a prism and a pyramid, and you can see it here side by side, is the prisms have 2 bases, so 1, 2, and pyramids only have 1 base at the bottom. Well, not necessarily at the bottom, but for this picture, it's here at the bottom. And they meet at a vertex up here, so let's label the vertex. This, I'm just going to put an arrow, is a vertex. Okay. The shape of the base determines the name of the prism or the pyramid. So let's go back to this one. These are triangles. So the name of this prism is a triangular prism. Okay? Triangular. But this base is not a triangle. What shape is this base? Looks like a square, so it's probably a square pyramid or, yeah, square pyramid. Okay, so let's name these. So for each one, first we need to decide, is it a prism or a pyramid? Well, does it have two bases or one base? This one definitely has two bases. Here's one, here's two. That did not turn out. So that's one base and then two bases. So this is a prism, but what kind of prism? How many sides does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a pentagon, if you remember that word. So this is a pentagonal prism. Okay, how many faces does it have? Let's count the faces on there. Oops. I'm going to label them. So we have the two bases, right? 1 and 2. And then how many sides do we have? Because that's going to determine the faces. That's 1, 3. Oops. 4, 5, 6, and then 7 right here. So it's the 5 sides of the pentagon and then the two bases. So 5 plus 2, 7. So 7 faces. How many edges? Oh, Lord. Let me erase it again. Let's count the edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 edges. How many vertices? So how many vertex does it have? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 vertices. Okay? I want you to pause the video and try to do this one. The blue one. Okay? Okay, if you're back or if you didn't try it, you just want to copy the notes. This is an octagonal prism. It's 8 sides and it has 2 bases. It has 10 faces, 24 edges, and 16 vertices. All right, I wanted to get to the pyramid. This pyramid, I know it's a pyramid because it only has how many bases? It only has 1 base. It does not have 2 bases. It has 1 base. These over here had 2 bases, and it meets at a vertex at the top. So that is a hexagonal because it has 6 sides. 6. Yeah. 6 sides of the base. So that's a hexagon. So it's a hexagonal pyramid. Remember, that's how we determine the name. We look at the base, and that's how we name it. So how many faces does it have? It has 7 faces, 12 edges, and 7 vertices. Okay. All right. Go ahead and get ready for the next part of our notes today, which is prisms. Have a good day.